Trader play in Mercurio R. I am a content creator, primarily on YouTube and Spotify, where I have a Warhammer 40k lorecast, where I do lore videos, I do a book club once a month, and I also get up to a roleplay TTRPG utilizing the Imperium Maledictum with my co-host Akirio Chamlin. Link in the description, all that will be below. But right now, let's play some Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. Now, unfortunately, a bit of a disclaimer, I did some stuff earlier in this morning, basically the entire prologue, and my dumbass essentially did Twitch wrong on my Xbox, and so I lost the entire footage there. But now that I finished up the prologue, I'm playing a Psyker, a Sanctioned Psyker that went into the archetype of the warrior who fully intends to go down the Dogmatic playthrough. So, enough that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Give me a second here while I'm getting everything set up. Getting chat set up just so I can be there for you guys. Alright. So, if the volume on it's a little bit too much or too little, just let me know. Vox Spirits brought you anything interesting lately? Your appearance is unique. You are Voidborn, are you not? And now they look Voidborn to you. Alright, let's see here. Tell me about the lives of the Voidborn in my crew. it's pretty fascinating that they go entire lifetimes without ever stepping foot on a planet. Reminds me, I should probably check for inventory since the last fight was pretty early in the morning. We stopped playing. What does this do? Well, obviously. Gotta be better suited. Battle guard that. Okay, let's get all of this out of the way. That way I can actually start benefiting from getting all of that returned. Hesitant to give that axe away, but plus 10% to parry is too good to pass up on. Okie dokie. Who do we got? Abelard.
Lord Captain.
Let's talk about things that may be useful to me as a rogue trader.
A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
Outline the situation of the Coronis Expanse for me. What do I need to know and keep in mind?
This is a topic for an official briefing, not a casual conversation. But I will try to answer succinctly. And if you permit, in my own words. The Coronis Expanse is considerably removed from the heart of the Imperium. This means that local warp routes become useless within months. Established pathways are regularly subject to attacks from all kinds of rabble. And in the only major port, the Imperium's frigates find themselves moored alongside pirate vessels. Until recently, the Coronis Expanse could hardly have been called a region of the Imperium. The situation has changed with the arrival of the Lord Inquisitor, but not by much. This place operates under its own rules, you see. More radical, so to speak. But ones that allow for a non-standard approach where there is a promise of victory. The Coronis Expanse is considered rogue trader territory for a reason. Only rogue traders have sufficient military might, audacity, and the rights granted them by the warrant to survive the leap into the unexplored part of the Expanse, and in the event of a successful outcome, to hold on to whatever they manage to capture on the frontier.
Who are the main players I need to be aware of in the Coronis Expanse?
In the first instance, you should treat official representatives of the Imperium with respect. The Expanse may be on the fringes, but it still numbers among the territories of the Golden Throne. The arrival of the Lord Inquisitor has turned the Coronis Expanse into a less wild and uncontrolled region, to the regret of some individuals who had grown inured to the local lawlessness. Rogue traders such as yourself are also servants of the Imperium. They have been accorded special rights and powers. They wield immense authority within their territory, and they enjoy absolute respect in other parts of the Expanse. The most powerful of them are Kalagos Winterscale and Incendia Bastal Chorda. Tread carefully when dealing with either of them. If we are to speak of unclaimed territory, which is what Footfall is, Among the scum that dwells on that handful of asteroids, there are 3 factions that wield considerable influence in the sector. The first is the Kazbala Commission, organized crime in its most primitive form. It holds sway over the Liege of Footfall, and has links to rogue trader Winterscale. The second faction is an offshoot of our shining ecclesiarchy, followers of St. Drusus. They are actively building their forces, and hold influence over rogue trader Chorda. And finally, the third faction, the Explorators, a wing of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are willing to die and kill for the secrets of the ancient technological heresies that are hidden among the stars of the Coronis Expanse.
Gunrad, our previous Master of Whispers, what can you tell me about his betrayal? What do you think he'll do next?
You know, Lord Captain, I am no admirer of fine art. But when we next find ourselves in a civilized port, with time to spare, I will promptly find an artist and commission a portrait of the individual to whom you refer, with a hole between the eyes. Conrad Voigtveer. That he committed his treachery and escaped with his life was an unforgivable oversight. We both served Lord Captain Theodora for many years, and we never saw eye to eye. He was brash. He was never afraid of assuming responsibility, and he willingly took on difficult tasks. I am loath to admit it, but the Von Valancius Protectorate continues to reap the fruits of his labors to this day. His service always garnered my respect. But everything else about him made me want to wring the neck of that two-faced snake. If you are taking comfort in the thought that we will hear no more of Conrad, prepare to be disappointed. You thwarted his plans, his meticulously plotted and nurtured treachery. He is sure to attempt to strike at you, and he will use his contacts and knowledge of the Protectorate to do so. The only question, Lord Captain, is whether you will be able to anticipate his next steps. As you wish, Lord Captain.
I'd like to know more about my seneschal.
As you wish, Lord Captain. What would you like to know?
Tell me about yourself. What were you before you became Theodora's seneschal?
I used to be an officer in the Navis Imperialis. No, used to be is not quite right. It was not simply a job. It was my calling, the essence of my life. I was proud to serve Lord Captain Theodora, but in my heart and mind, I am still an officer of the Imperium. I met Lord Captain Theodora on a mission where the Imperial Navy was providing reinforcement to the rogue trader's army on one of the frontier worlds. Our acquaintance was not easy. Working with people outside the Navy hierarchy has never been my strong suit. It was to my great surprise then, that after the mission's completion, I received a referral to leave my service in the Navy and join the rogue trader's personal council. It was a difficult choice for me. But I saw in the offer a chance to serve the interests of humanity even more effectively than in the Navis Imperialis. You do not need me to tell you just how remarkable a person Lord Captain Theodora was. I recognized her at once as a true leader and formidable creative force. One who had built a protectorate amidst the dangers and wildness of the Expanse.
Leaving the Imperial Navy is far from easy. Why were you permitted to quit your post?
You could say there was no one among the naval command who was willing to impede the wishes of the rogue trader. To do so would be to risk their own position and their relationship with Theodora. Well, the Lord Captain possessed certain contacts in the Imperial Navy. Contacts which she used to request help during the conflict on the border world. And which enabled her to make me an offer that resulted in my joining her retinue. The Navis Imperialis is an ancient institution with its own mandates and muster lists. On occasion, in the heat of an official briefing, or an informal discussion, I violated those rules, determined to press my point. It is challenging to choose the words to accurately express my opinion on a situation or the actions of others that do not sound overly scathing or confrontational. Many in command were inclined to view my manner of speaking as unbefitting a person of my rank.
The way you talk about Theodora, I'm beginning to think you were in love with her.
What? Lord Captain, any allegations of improper feelings or unsanctioned relations are utterly baseless and bordering on the insulting. Utterly baseless.
You have a family.
I am a widower. I am a father of 4, and if my information is not outdated, a grandfather of 11. My family lives on Dargonus. None of my children express any eagerness or aptitude for serving aboard ship, and I would hardly have insisted that they follow in my footsteps.
Thank you. I have no more questions.
Of course.
You may call me by my first name if you wish.
I thank you for the honor, but I must decline. As a former military officer, I believe in the importance of order in all things, including the chain of command. You are the Lord Captain, my direct superior. I am not prepared to address you in any way other than as regulation dictates.
I must take my leave. Until next time, Seneschal.
Lord Captain.
Yeah, just so you know, if there's going to be a dialogue that's voice acted, I'm going to probably say the lines that I use. Otherwise, I'm just going to give you guys enough time to read this, and then I'm going to press on. uh... A lot of people from Dargonus.
What are you talking about, Lord Captain?
You are a Psyker. Psyker is only granted the right to live with the Emperor's blessing. Have you ever been to Terra?
Look, Lady Theodora couldn't care less if some eggheads measured my brains or not. It's not about the seal on your forehead, get it? It's about what's in your gut. If it's rotten or not. My gut's stronger than the adamantine on this here ship. And my implants are better than the ones they put in you on your Terra. If they weren't, I wouldn't have lived as long as I have.
Where do you come from?
Lyra, an outlying world in the Heathen Stars region. In the Coronus Expanse, the deeper you go, the less visible the Astronomicon gets, and the less people know about the Imperium. The arrival of a rogue trader is the best thing that can happen to a world like that. The very best.
Tell me about Lyra.
It's an out-of-the-way planetoid between two faint stars. On Lyra, a dozen local tyrants fight over 5 measly continents. But they use everything they can to win, from poison to psychers. I haven't been there in many years, but there's nothing for me to miss. Trust me. But here on the ship is a different story altogether. I saw more wonders in my first year serving Lady von Valancius than I'd seen in my whole life on Lyra. Like my first journey through the warp, I was in bed for 3 days. I felt like supernovas were exploding in my head. I only found out later that I'd gotten off easy. Just through the bulkhead in the bay next to mine, a whole team turned into... Look at me rambling on, Lord Captain. Pay no attention.
Never finished a story about your first time crossing the war.
It wasn't like it was a very fun trip, Lord Captain. But look, if you want to be entertained, I'm the woman for the job. I'll entertain you with one of the stories from my collection, no problem. But if you want to hear about the time I melted everyone in the bay next door, well, I just don't really want to go into the details on that one, all right?
What did you do before you came to be on the ship?
Oh, I embroidered wall hangings in honor of our national heroes. I did the same thing I do here, Lord Captain. Divining. Our rulers prized the ability to see into the future. Every psyker that could be found was worth a small fortune on Lyra. There's no such thing as a peaceful life on Lyra. People like me were especially sought after. They'd pick psychers up wherever they found them, buy kids off their parents, even just abduct them. Take me for instance. I got taken from my street gang. The older kids sold me when they noticed there was something off about me. The ruling dynasties had schools where they trained us and beat us black and blue. And then they packed us off to serve. Some of us held on for a long time, but others didn't last. Not everyone's as smart and talented as me, you know. Some people crossed the line and were out of commission before their time.
How did you end up in the Rogue Trader's service?
Theodora von Valancius paid a visit to the ruler I was serving at the time. I don't know what the visit was for, and it's no business of mine anyway. I can still remember the way the voices in my head changed when I looked at her. They were practically screaming. She had so much behind her, and plenty ahead of her too. And as I gawped at her, all of a sudden I heard a whisper. A hint, a suggestion, nothing more. But I know the difference between idle chatter and a real threat. I seized my chance and approached Theodora. I managed to whisper a couple of words in her ear before the wardens dragged me away. They beat me and locked me up. No wonder. It wasn't my place to converse with outsiders. And then, Theodora's people came for me. They broke down the wall, butchered their guards. Also, I could tell them my warning in full. So, I said the rest, but I didn't want to go back to my old life. And so I entered the service of the Fawn Valancius dynasty.
Have you ever been off the ship?
A few times. Not many. And if I think about it, why would I want to? I've got everything I need here. All the whispers I hear are familiar ones. They almost feel like family. And if I want to hear about the nightmares off the ship, I can. After some Amisec. But don't go getting the wrong idea. If I have to, I'll follow you to the edge of the galaxy.
Let's talk about something else.
Of course, Lord Captain.
What's it like being a psyker?
You could ask yourself that question, eh, Lord Captain? Every psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it.
How do you live with this whispering in your head?
Training, habit, and a little Amasec and a couple other things you can get on the lower decks. If you put all those together, it makes things bearable. Sometimes I even wonder if I'm imagining half the voices I hear. You know, when life on board gets a little boring. Better than listening to the living, anyhow.
What would happen if your door burst open?
Well, if the door opens, that means somebody's planning to come in, right? But screw them. They're not coming through. Trust me, I know how to keep my valuable head locked up tight.
Aren't you afraid of losing control?
Only losers who are afraid of their own gift lose control. Or idiots who never figure out what they are before it's too late. Or little kids who want to play around with their shiny new toy. If you don't know the limits of your abilities, or you're always bouncing around in your own head, that's a recipe for disaster.
Can you see my future?
All right. That's what I'm here for, after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door in my head a little more, prick up my ears, and listen to what the warp's got to say about you. If you'll allow it, I can listen right now.
Sure.
All right. Let's hear what they're whispering about you. Seek not on firm ground, but in a golden hall suspended in the void. There waits a child without kin, but with a name blind to truth. She draws the brush across the canvas and does not notice that her palette is full not of paint, but of blood. And with each smear, this well does not deplete, but fills and fills up to the brim. One thing is clear. When this vessel overflows, none will remain unstained. Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, rogue trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion. A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. A chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his master, or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord? The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it? I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
Did you know Theodora von Valencius well?
None of the officers knew the Lord Captain well. Not even Abelard, and she was always closer to him than anyone else. She told me from the off if I ever listened to anything in the warp about her without her permission, I'd be going out through the airlock. I'm not an idiot, so I never stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Only when I was asked. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. Lady von Valancius gave me everything I have. She opened the stars to me and the paths between them. I still think I can hear her voice.
Things are strained between you and Argenta, isn't that right?
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices. Ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
Got a new story for me, Idira.
You bet I do, Lord Captain. Okay, so we went to Footfall once. Well, I mean, Lord Captain Theodora went to Footfall a lot. But on that occasion, she took me with her for some reason. My day had gotten off to a bad start. My head had been yammering since I woke up, but there was nothing else for it. I had to go. We arrived at the place, and what a place! All the gentlemen and ladies dressed to kill, showing off their encrusted implants, all clustered around little tables. Well, turned out it was a gaming den. And not just any gaming den, but one run by somebody with deep pockets for people with just as much cash to splash. You should have seen it. People gambling away planets in a game of regicide. Anyway, so the Lord Captain wanted me to help her beat some guy. So I tell her, the chips won't land in your favor. You'll get a bad hand. Don't sit down at that table, your ladyship. But did she listen? Of course she didn't. If there's one thing she never lacked, it's stubbornness. So they sat down and the cards were dealt. I'm hovering around like I'm not involved, but I'm keeping my eye on things. And everything in my head keeps getting louder and louder. Anyway, it's a good thing I realized in time that my mind wasn't going haywire over a losing hand, but something else. I made some excuse to drag the Lord Captain up from the table and took her away from that place. And a few minutes later, the room where we'd been... It turned out some wise guy had the same bright idea to bring a pet psyker along with him. One of those ones who just scuttle around in Footfall's underbelly. And the psyker just freaked out, I guess. After all the commotion, people went to see what happened in the room. And they'd all gone for each other's throats. Literally. With teeth. And I think they completely detached that asteroid from Footfall and pushed it off into open space so it would head off toward the local star.
I must take my leave.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
for a conversation with Sister Argent.
Rogue trader.
Said you have a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, Rogue trader. The accursed servants of Chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in Von Valancia's territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the rogue trader could meet with the orphans?
I will meet with them, but no formalities needed. These are the children of people who gave their lives for Von Valancia's dynasty. My consideration is the least that they deserve.
I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart. Greetings.
Tell me about the Adeptus Sororitas.
Gladly. There are none more faithful to the God Emperor than my sisters. We fight against his enemies by the will of the Holy Ecclesiarchy. I beg your pardon, Rogue Trader. Here I am talking about what every lesser noble in the Imperium knows. So what exactly are you interested in hearing about?
They say the Adeptus Sororitas are the fiercest in the faith among the warriors of the Imperium. Is it true?
It is. The Sisters of Battle are a fire lit by the God Emperor. They are the echo of his voice that travels through the dark expanses of the universe. We bring his wrath to heretics, mutants, and other enemies of humanity. We protect the faithful from the unholy and unhallowed. sometimes with words, more often than not with a bolter.
Or else this is truly as faultless as you say.
Even the novices of the Adeptus Sororitas are drawn from among the most worthy. Those who have taken the vows and become a full-fledged sister are the best of the best, tested by trials of body and spirit. Yes, there have been cases when a sister stumbled or showed weakness, but do not expect to hear a story of depravity or downfall from me. Each such occurrence is a great tragedy for us all. Light cannot bear the smallest speck of darkness within. And thus those who have trespassed or shown weakness of spirit are given a chance at redemption. They are called Sisters Repentia, and may the enemy tremble before her, for nothing can stop a sister of battle who yearns to be cleansed of faults and weakness. Wearing nothing but robes, no armor, eviscerator in hand, those sisters who have once faltered find repentance on the battlefield. Their lives are seldom long, but a death in the name of purgation is a better fate than to live with a shadow in one's soul.
What order are you from?
Once I had completed my novitiate, I was sent to the Calixian branch of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, assigned to the Order's Pronatus. The Order's mission is vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect great relics of the Imperium. We guard them, preserve them, escort them when they are brought onto the battlefield or presented for pilgrims to venerate. And we seek out the relics that have been lost. Neither a coven of heretics nor the most wicked death world can deter Sisters Pronatus when their goal is to return a piece of the great legacy of the Imperium into the hands of the faithful.
The Order of Pronatus is not one of the Order's militant, and yet you are a trained fighter.
Don't let the name deceive you. The Order's militant trains sisters to march onto the battlefield as an army. That does not make sisters who belong to the non-militant orders timid and helpless. Both the solace-bringing Sisters Hospitaller and the enlightened Sisters Dialogus know how to greet enemies of humanity. Their dialogue with heretics is usually quite short, with the last word being a bolter discharge.
Groovy.
And my order has all the more reason to be known for the martial prowess of its sisters. We are the keepers of the Imperium's relics. What would become of our blessed hero's legacy if the Sisters Pronatus could not protect it?
You said you belonged to the Calixan branch of your order. What brought you to the Coronis Expanse?
The Order sent me to Footfall. My undertaking was to assist the local priesthood of Drusians in caring for a sacred reliquary that had been there since the time of Parsimus Duane, the station's founder.
Are there any members of the Adeptus Sororitas in the Coronis Expanse?
None that I'm aware of, but the Sisterhood's orders are many, and can operate independently of one another, sending their sisters wherever their presence is needed as deemed by the Ecclesiarchy. Perhaps somewhere in the Lord Inquisitor's retinue, may his path be blessed, my sisters perform their duty as we speak. I wish it were so. Even a single evening spent in joint prayer and training would bring me joy.
I have no more questions about the Sisterhood.
Should any more arise, keeping them to yourself would be imprudent. It is a virtue to take an interest in holiness.
Tell me about yourself.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
How did you end up on Theodora's ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the cultist attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, where crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I had barely recovered from my wounds when the cultists struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
What happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
Is it difficult for you to accept that you made a mistake?
It happens even to the best of us. My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
Where did this happen?
On one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
We could go to that planet and deal with the Chaos Worshippers.
The path to that planet was lost. All the knowledge is gone, along with the previous navigator. It would take immense effort and resources to rediscover the route. The heir to the von Valanci's protectorate must have plenty of other issues to deal with right now. Perhaps later, when the skies above our heads have cleared.
What was it like traveling on Theodora's ship?
I hadn't been here that long. Just one journey from Footfall, and the other journey, the majority of which I spent in the confines of the medbay. I can't tell you much about the first voyage. I was more focused on prayers and ruminations than on the people around me, or the journey itself. During the last journey, Seneschal Viserion stood out for me. He came by several times to ask about my health. He's an honorable man and a loyal servant of the Imperium. I think he is as meticulous in his inspections of the logistic systems as he is in his inquiries about the health of the occasional sister of battle aboard the ship. But not all of Theodora's people have earned my trust. You know who I'm talking about. There is no place for Adira Talas among the God Emperor's faithful. I'm surprised she wasn't in league with the cultists. And I'm equally surprised by how deep heresy and treason run in this place. I'm glad we all made it through that dark hour. May the day that follows be bright.
I don't have any more questions, thank you.
As you wish.
What is it that is keeping you in my retinue?
The ship was targeted by heretics, which means that my presence here and the assistance I provide to you are my sacred duty. Sooner or later, I will likely have to return to Footfall to protect its reliquary. But for now, I wish to remain a part of the Rogue Trader's crew.
It pleases me to have a servant of the Golden Throne in my crew. May the enemies of the Imperium tremble before our onslaught.
So they shall.
Thank you for this conversation. Until next time. Okie dokie. So, we are going to go to the quarters real quick, pick up additional gear that would be afforded to this playthrough. And then we're going to get started on the first side mission. Subsequently, the first crew member recruit. Gotta get us a navigator after all. What we got here? Can dig it. They're all pretty sweet. This is already a better cloak. I really feel like ablutions right now. Could do the other DLC stuff, but I want to get our Navigator as soon as possible. So we're going to go to that mission first. Oh, where is that tool? He's on the other side, isn't he? Nope, he's over here. Before we go to Eurac V, I would like to go to the unidentified void ship to try and get some swag. Prepare for commercial exchange. Oh, they really like that. Go ahead and give that to them. All right. Oh, well, that's obvious. Painfully so. Let's go ahead and get her that cloak. Give her a secondary flamer. Okay. Let's head back over to Eurac V. Ugh.
Pathetic worm. You dare to argue with your master?
It was not you whom I swore to serve within these walls. My lips are sealed.
Confess. What was the old man's last command? What are you planning?
Give up, Keeper. You have lost this battle. Again.
We're getting nowhere with these ones, sir. Permission to execute them.
Abelard, if you'd be so kind. Oh, he's like, Abelard, smack his balls.
It's about time!
White. Bright, pure color. And it's all riddled with horrible veins that carry the poison of fear and pain throughout its body. Who are you? Why are you crying?
If the witch is talking about the enemies of humanity who set upon this abode of noble navigators, Then our weapons will soon dispel their wicked misery.
Experience. Nothing matters more.
I
Attention
won't
to
tolerate
detail is the
weakness.
key to success.
Halt. I notice something.
Duty prevails. I better myself through my service.
All right. First combat of the stream.
I won't heed your cries of mercy. Purge them.
Oh, my ears are ringing.
My faith strengthens me. Stay vigilant.
I know what is to come. Will do. But of course.
Weapon at the ready.
Excellent. Boo. Boo. Double boo.
Follow my lead. Follow my lead.
Cleanses the body.
Break them morale.
I've suffered worse.
Rejoice in battle! As the Emperor commands, I act.
Not bad. Not bad. Go for
I'll do
broke
it.
here.
Escape the Emperor's judgment.
Yeah, boy.
Moving out!
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones. At your beck and call. I will do my duty.
My faith.
I took care of this one.
is this foreboding? Anything else?
All too easy.
Mocking me.
As the Emperor commands, I act. Faith without deeds is worthless.
I'll do it.
Work is a prayer.
It will be done. One view at a time.
Easy.
What advice out is for the weak.
A new challenge for me?
Alright, so hard part is over.
Excellence matters. None shall stand in my way.
Never doubt me.
Where'd it go? Need to get her Medicaid up though.
We need to investigate.
More penetration. But now... First frag grenades of the game as well. This is arguably a better thing for him to wear. Gonna save that cape for our navigator. More charisma is always good.
I'll lay claim to the stars. What is that?
The Emperor favors me today.
Damn warp. If we'd been in real space, I'd have...
Idira, stop castigating yourself. Your soothsayings have always been vague. Even if you had her, who among us would have realized that it was Lady Theodora who was in peril?
Halt! I noticed something. Follow my lead!
Nothing's impossible for this old officer.
Indeed it is not. Is it at least a better weapon? Let's see. Oh yes. Yes it is. It's better than the gloves I have? Probably not. The only person that's benefiting from persuasion right now is my character, but even then that's not his thing. That's what the navigator's going to be for.
I better myself through my service. Duty prevails.
I won't tolerate weakness. Time.
Favors me today.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
I'm gonna have to work on them stats. Oof. What we got here? Seneschal's trusty Schwaggle-Waggle. Probably better to switch to this for old boy. Alright. That's out of the way. What kind of armor is she rocking over here? Better than what she's... Yeah, okay.
None shall stand in my way.
Uh-oh, warp spaghetti. Boo!
Victory awaits!
Well, see, no, that's just arguably better
They
for
say a
what's her
little bit of
face.
humility never hurts anyone. I help others better themselves by wholeheartedly humiliating them at every step.
Can't argue with the logic, my dude.
This ocular implant was a worthwhile investment.
Wouldn't it, though?
Follow my lead!
I better myself through my service.
All right. Ooh, I remember this puzzle. Oh. Oh, okay. does this go again? Oh. I think I have everything. I'm trying to remember this puzzle because I know it involves this and that. I think I have to break those down. Just trying to remember the order of operation. Think about it. Okay. Let's start with the one I know.
We need to investigate.
And I already know that I have to do that with the adamant. And
A new challenge for me.
remake that while I'm here. Alright, let's see here. So, tissue flask. We got the mutated flesh sample, navigator flesh sample. Okay, I want to say, and I know there's two solutions. First one's mutated. Data crypt connector. This is one that always trips me up. Okay, I want to say it's this one. It's definitely purple. I remember purple being for mutated. And this one's definitely the crystal dust. It's not in. Okay, yeah. I'm telling you, how you remember. You go based off of color coding, you'll never forget. I haven't played this game in like months. I'm pretty sure this is right. But let's find out.
What is that? I'll lay claim to the
Moment of
stars.
truth. Ah! I did it. Yep. Alright, so there's one more to go. Because there's only two solutions, and you can mess it up. Which means that the next one I want is the flesh sample. He's starting to believe, guys. He's starting to believe. I know that KO is bad. That's the one that makes it so it doesn't work. So by process of elimination, that means the OH is the one we want. And the catalyst is the acid that is... Yeah, it's the unidentified acid. And therefore, that means that. Boom. I'm right. I already know I'm right.
Halt!
I got
I
this.
noticed something. It's
Part of the
about
cards,
time.
guys. Let's go. Shapow! That is why I make the big bucks. I'll take it. Why not? Let's talk to this guy just so we make sure we're not missing out on anything. Alright. Don't need anything else from this area. I know that for a fact. So we get to go back. Probably get into a fight with somebody that's too in love with his own legend. Ooh, let's click that real quick.
An expected result.
This dude seems fishy to me. giving me that warning. She does. Like, and I noticed that, like, if you have her in the party throughout the entirety of the game, you have a better shot of, like, figuring out a lot of stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to if you weren't, like a skill monkey, usually. It's just like she has those added insights that makes it so it's obvious. Like, so, like she was saying about the mask, this dude's, he's a liar. He's a bad guy. Bad in quotations, but even so.
Submit, and you'll die quickly.
Death to his enemies!
Alright, so I'm up on top of this guy, and I like where I'm at, so we're gonna stay right there. Same thing with my boy Abelard. But I don't like where she's at, so let's try and put her in some cover. Same thing with Argenta here.
Doubt is for the weak.
We're gonna work on getting these tools killed off as soon as possible.
I'll do it.
It was an okay hit. Not my best work.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
I think getting him off the ass is a good idea. I wonder. Okay, so they'll hit each other. That's good. Same thing for these. Let's put a big old target on him here first. Increase
Anything else?
old boy's ability to retaliate.
No can do.
No line of sight? Okay, that makes it easy then.
Watch and learn. You'll regret this.
I will endure.
Pretty scrappy.
Follow my lead. Victory is imminent.
Indeed.
Well, in lieu of that,
Opposing me was your biggest mistake. Nothing I can't do.
hey, it worked this time.
Shall become.
She did always want to be a monster.
Rough. Rough.
Curse you, miscreant! Death to the...
Follow my lead.
Well, they are certainly making it easy, aren't they?
But of course.
How's this guy? Okay. Let's do this first.
to dust.
And there it is. Let's
My place is at the fort.
here. See how good grenades are? My goodness.
At your beck and call. It will be done.
He is in the fire. Too worried about that guy.
Already
Let's
done.
get him buffed up real quick. We want to focus on this tool.
Suits my purposes.
I must not falter.
What, did that dude just die? Or did he hide somewhere? Where is he? Alright, full. Full. Okay. Well, I'm not too worried about what happens next.
Will do.
Go ahead and take care of him.
Was that you? What an unfortunate turn of fate.
Increase your probability of not getting shot with a shotgun. Or is that a las gun?
I will do my duty. Indeed. It will be done.
Well,
All too easy.
goodbye.
Follow my lead. Weather the storm.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
There is movement in the Empyrean.
Will do. Be gone.
Bye, Felicia.
Yes?
Look, we must act. Victory awaits.
There was a shotgun in there somewhere. Where is it? Stub revolver, that's pretty good. All right. Let's get her a body glove. Assuming she's not. Yep, she's already wearing one. This is just arguably a better thing to give Argenta. Okay, have both control rods.
None shall stand in my way.
Don't think I'm missing any swag. Bilbo Swaggin's got to have the swag. Okay. Let's finish up this side quest and recruit our first outside character. Ugh. Abelard, introduce us. Looks like we have some competing factions in House Orsilio.
Wake up, my mistress, my sacred child. It is all over now. It is over.
What happened? You. I remember you. Have you come to save us?
Child, please, listen to me very carefully. One last time. You will now embark on a voyage with this lord to rejoin the house and its regent in the Coronus Expanse. I will not be able to accompany you on this journey.
No! Not you too! Don't leave me alone in this violet-brown haze! You're coming with me! Your mistress is giving you an order. Do you hear me?
Mistress, I fear this will be your only order that I dare to disobey. I am the keeper of Eurac V, and alas, I have less than a day left in me. Allow me to serve you one last time and honor my final duty to House Orsilio. I will remain on the station and destroy the secrets it holds.
Oh, Fearbold.
I regret that we have to meet under such circumstances.
What need have I for your regrets? I just want things to go back to the way they were before. What are you going to do to me?
Lady Kaseya, I, Yumhar von Valentius, rogue trader of the Imperium of Man, offer you my protection and grant you shelter aboard my vessel.
Do not fear what is to come, child. You are ready to guide any vessel. I know this because I taught you myself. And it is difficult to imagine more worthy company than a rogue trader. But remember, your safety is of paramount importance. Get to the Great Regent and fulfill your destiny.
I beg your pardon, but what about my servants? Eurac V is still full of people loyal to House Orcelio.
All who can be saved will be given succor on board my ship.
As a Lady Navigator of House Orcelio, I accept your gracious offer of protection. Please, take me to your vessel. I can no longer bear the pain of this place.
Follow my lead.
Look at that. Level up
Tired of
time.
idleness, let's move.
Alrighty. We are coming at last to the thing that matters most, which is being able to secure a secondary psychic ability power tree. We are definitely going with pyromancy. Gonna get yet more carouse. Where's that course? 1 second. Yeah, that was the wrong one. We wanted coercion. I don't know how to read, apparently. Alright. Breakthrough's pretty good. That'd be the one you want to get with him. And once again, carouse. We have the ability to up her psychic mastery. No, still no. Alright, well in lieu of that, we're going to give her something that makes her more powerful with her psychic abilities, because it's pretty much you want to do with her in the beginning. That one's really good. Mentioned that at last cast. Definitely want to get that just in case. Increase our willpower yet again. After that 70 cap, we're going to start putting it into perception. Once again, we want her ballistic skill to be as high as possible, and we want to definitely go straight to rapid fire. Having that rate of fire doubled is crucial. It doesn't look like it's a good selection because of the minus 25% less damage, but the amount of rate of fire you're going to have eventually just far outseeds any type of negative you start out with. As for her, I'm trying to remember correctly. I want to say most of her abilities are centered around having a high willpower and or perception. But let's check just to make sure. Ah, see, there it is. You don't have to worry about putting too much into Fellowship because eventually a natural allure is going to make up for the difference. Because almost everything you're going to select for Cassia is going to be these Navigator abilities. Though, as to which one you should get first, really depends on what playstyle you want to go under. I know eventually time manipulation and added turns and abilities in turns is something you want to do with her because it's broken. And even after the latest update, I don't think they much changed the way that that goes down. Ebb and flow's pretty good. Mastery of time is one you want to get pretty early. Now open to the warp is very good as well. You want to get past unscathed because then you don't have to focus on high agility. It kind of makes up for it in the difference in perception. Oh yeah, Strange Vitality. This one's really good. Basically makes it so she's... Being that she's very squishy, she stays up for longer. I don't want to get a natural allure first, even though it's really good. So, I think... Where's it at? We're going to get the one that's really good to get as early as possible, which is Mastery of Time. Because you definitely want to be able to do these powers as soon as possible. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any actual powers that I can get my hands on. No. So we'll go ahead and get Mastery of Time first. So Personal Oversight's really good. Inspire Courage is really good. Well, let's see if there's actually an ability she can get her hands on. Like I said, if you can get as many of the Navigator powers as soon as possible, you'd be doing yourself a service, frankly. But under the circumstances, I think Inspire Courage is a good one to get. Because every time she targets an ally with her ability, they're automatically going to gain 6 temporary wounds, which is really good. Like I said, bumping up her willpower as much as possible. Willpower and perception. Her fellowship can just... it'll scale in time. Now that we are on her character, let's get some stuff added onto her. You gotta be very careful with like balancing act, because eventually when you do get the power that's going to make it so her perception is going to be in place of her agility, having the right armor on her becomes very, very crucial. So like this armor right here is probably the best thing for her at the moment. You can look at like the other armor and it automatically drops her dodge average by 15%, but only takes less damage away. Or sorry, gives more damage taken away, which is good, but like in the end, really what you're aiming for with Cassia is to make it so she's just impossible to hit. Because again, if she does get hit, she will just go down like a sack of potatoes quicker than you could spit. So right now we're going to focus on giving her some clear advantages. So Vengeance, you know, give her the cloak that increases her fellowship by +5, which is pretty good. We're going to keep the armor on her. The staff she's rocking is probably the best she's going to use, and make sure we can put these on because she's really good at persuasion. And we're going to give her the goggles, even though they probably need to go to somebody else who has a better logic, but really everybody else has their slots full at the moment. Okay. The only other thing that I can think to do is make sure we mark that for cargo and then send it to cargo. See, we already have redundant staff here, so we don't need to worry about having another one of those come our way, and throw that into cargo. Alright. So that's me satisfied.
I won't
go ahead
tolerate weakness.
Get all the stuff. I know there's some swag in this room. You know how I feel about gathering swag. Might be the only thing, apart from a couple lore things that you can click on that might be useful. But yeah. Might be able to talk to this tool before we go. Nope. Okay. So we're just gonna get out of here. Into the void ship, where I think there is an aside. Can't seem to remember, it has been a while. Yep. And since we saved her manservant, we get to have those weird dialogues with him as well. I'm doing all the correct things here. You know, I think it's crazy that you don't actually get into like a space combat battle until after Act 1. Like this entire preamble after the prologue is just several hours of just drudgery and kind of depriving you of the one thing that like makes this game actually more agreeable in terms of playing it over and over again, which is the space combat, which mind you, it isn't like Battlefield Gothic 1 or 2. Not even close, but it's pretty good for like a CRPG, I think. It's really just, you know, about preference at the end of the day. And I prefer something that's a little bit more streamlined in 2D, even though that kind of doesn't really fit so much with, you know, non-asymmetrical combat in the void of space. Alright, now this is pretty cool. You can kind of start to grasp where exactly in the timeline this is taking place. So, like, what Cassia is referring to, the endless blackness that has spread across the canvas dividing what should be whole in two, she is referring to the Cicatrix Maledictum, which says pretty much that while this story does take place in the Coronis Expanse, the first couple weeks of Act 1 is when the fall of Cadia happens and the Cicatrix Maledictum, the Great Rift, divides the galaxy in two. And I do believe the Coronis Expanse is on Imperium Nihilus side, which means that they're cut off from the light of the Astronomicon. So it's really cool that they incorporated the Cicatrix Maledictum into the overarching story of Rogue Trader, mainly because it does put it so like around the time where the Primarch, Rabute Gilman, comes back, which is really cool. Scrap is pretty useful. Profit factor even more so. Trying to get a high profit factor is really crucial because there's going to be a lot of times where that's going to get taken away, whereas with scrap, you get after whenever you go to scuttle like a station or a ship after post-combat, but you also do get scrap after every space combat, and there will be tons of space combat. So we're going to focus on getting the profit factor since it's harder to gain. Alrighty, so we went past the 2-hour marker, which is what I was aiming for this. So I think under the circumstances, this is where I'm going to call it for now. Game has been saved. Hey, thanks for joining me. Anybody that, you know, stuck around, that's cool. If not, that's also cool. Like I said at the beginning of this stream, I'm a content creator over on YouTube and Spotify. Concilium Historica Imperialis. I do Warhammer 40k lore videos, book clubs, and we even have a TTRPG that's run by my co-host Ikurio Chamlin. On Lucid Dreams, the Yaga Mythos. Good stuff. We're getting on good stuff there. If you like what you've seen, consider heading over to YouTube and or Spotify. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.